Restring Sunday's back. Hello and welcome to the second season of Restring Sunday, the series where I take a guitar, I restring it, I talk about it, and that's about it. Now this is the second season, so there's a playlist of all the first season. In retrospect, probably a stupid idea to launch a series that is shot outdoors in a country where there's about 4 months of non-consecutive usable outdoor time. But we're back. Now I'm going to be honest, kind of running out of guitars to restring. I've got like the next 4 planned, but I'm borrowing guitars, I'm getting guitars sent by companies. This is one of those to keep this series alive. This is one of those guitars. So this is from a company that I had never heard of before. This is from a company that I'm probably pronouncing them incorrectly. Shijie, I think, but I'm not sure. A couple of interesting things about this guitar that we'll get to. Firstly, case, very commendable. Best gig bag I've seen come with a guitar in this price range. Very good. Now the other thing that you might notice is this is my first ever Telecaster. New season, new workbench. This is a terrible ironing board. Okay. So those that have spoken to me in the past may have heard that I'm not a huge fan of tellies. And that's for a reason. It's not undeserved dislike. It's because my experience with tellies in the past has not been very comfortable. They've just kind of been blocks of wood. And I like comfy guitars. So when they asked me which guitar I wanted to try, I specifically requested a telly. That's because if the starting point is from a guitar that I'm not a particularly huge fan of, well, then we can only go up from there. And the other thing that made me want to do a guitar from this company was the message, the email that I got. They said, I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like, if it's not good quality, please feel free to smash it, which I thought was kind of funny. So here we are with the guitar. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to be smashing it because I've been pleasantly surprised. So if you look at the specs of this guitar, it's kind of like just an upgraded telly. It's got an alder body, it's got a roasted maple neck, it's got a rosewood fingerboard, and then it's got P90 pickups, which I've been very impressed with. P90s just kind of overwound single coils, and with single coils you get the single coil hum and buzz. But surprisingly, with this I didn't notice a lot of it. I'll demonstrate now. Right, so we're running it through this mystery amp for the moment. There will be a video on it, but all you need to know right now is it's plexi-ish, and we're pushing it quite hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up the volume, and that's how much ambient noise is coming from the guitar, which isn't a whole lot for P90s. I would expect a lot more, especially considering the tone that we're getting from this amp. We are pushing it. So the P90s allow for classic rock all the way up to hard rock. You're probably not going to be playing super heavy metal on them. Though in saying that, I'm probably not going to be doing that anyway. It's a telly. I think that the heaviest I'm going to go is, obviously, with John 5, it's going to be Motley Crue. Oh, I should also say that one of the things that I was very happy with, because like I said, telly's not my favorite instrument because their ergonomics was bit lackluster is that this guitar does have some ergonomics. It's got the belly carve, and I quite like this one. This is the carve on the heel, and it's very reminiscent of the Fender carve that Fender do. I can't remember what series they do it on, Player, Performer, something like that. But that carve, quite comfortable. I like that. It's also, I chose gold because it just stands out a little bit. I quite like that. Here's the thing. This guitar allows us to answer a question that I see common enough. Remember the Harley Benton video? The Harley Benton had problems. A lot of people were commenting, and you can search the comments for it. They're all talking about, well, what do you expect from a guitar made in China? Well, that guitar was made in Indonesia. I've talked about this concept before. Where a guitar is made doesn't really matter. It's about how well it's made. That's the key point. And it's kind of the obvious thing that you would expect. You see, this guitar, this brand, it's Chinese, made in China. But it's not super cheap either. Like this guitar, if I gave it to you, you 100% would not know where it was made. I guarantee you. You wouldn't know from playing it, or from its sound either. But also, if you look at the specs, the hardware on this guitar is brand name. You've got a Wilkinson bridge, and it's got these brass saddles, and that, even though it's like a P90 telly, it still sounds like a telly. It's got the higher end to it. Got me wondering what the pots are. Hang on, I will tell you if they're branded or not. You know, Alpha or something like that. We will see. Yep, we got Alpha pots there, and a nice shielded cavity too. Right, it's restring time, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to put 10s on this, but we're actually going to tune it to standard. Normally, I tune a full step down. Also, we've got a couple of string codes to give you for the player circle thing that have been sent in by viewers for the amount of time that this series was not happening. A lot of people sent in codes. Well, this is awkward. Turns out that I can't access any messages or message requests on Instagram that are older than 4 weeks, which means that I've only got access to one code to give away. So there it is on the screen. And if you've got codes that you want to donate to the rest of the people who watch these videos, send them in. Email probably is better than Instagram. Thanks. I want to quickly talk about kind of a paradox that I see among people when they talk about guitars made in China. See, there'll be people who will say that guitars made in China are bad. They're not good, not worth anything, so on and so forth. And that's generally based on experience. So that's fair enough. Except it's kind of painting everything with the same brush, which I don't agree with. As you can see with, for example, Gibson, it doesn't matter where a guitar is made, it can be made badly, it can be made poorly. It's about the care and effort that goes into, I dropped my thing, care and effort that goes into making the guitar. And you are much more likely to put care and effort into making a guitar if you're paid well to make it. That's why I don't quite understand the paradox of, when people talk about guitars made in China, they say, well, oh, it's terrible, it's bad, whatever. Okay, fine. And then you present a guitar that's a bit more expensive, but it's also made in China, and then they're angry that that's too much for a guitar made in China. You kind of have to pick one. So these guitars are not super inexpensive. I've just checked the price there, and they're $7.99 for one of these, and then $8.79 with the gig bag. But again, I'm still gonna say how good this gig bag is. This is the best gig bag that I've seen come with a guitar, especially in this price point. So I do recommend the gig bag. Really nice. So while it's not super cheap, I think you are getting a good guitar here. I've been thoroughly happy with it. It hasn't left me wanting more, which is good. It's doing everything that I expected it to do. You're getting the branded hardware, which is obviously cool. You're also getting, you know, decent quality woods. The neck is Canadian quarter-sawn maple. The reason that it's Canadian is it's colder, so tree grows less. There's denser rings growth. It's overall harder, stronger, less likely to move, and that's kind of a good thing in a neck that's got a lot of pressure and tension on it. See, when you're talking about guitars and where they're made in terms of quality, I'm not sure that's really a very good metric to measure them by. You see, we've seen it in the past. Guitars made in Japan were viewed as less, but now they're very, very premium, high-end, expensive guitars. Guitars that were made in Korea, we did a video on that, a Restring Sunday. Made in Korea, were the budget brand that nobody wanted, and the same factory making the same guitar with the same people. Now that's the premium line in many, many different guitar manufacturers. If you do something for long enough, you'll get good at it. And just to mention, just so we're very clear, I'm not getting paid for any of this. I get to keep the guitar, but if I didn't like the guitar, it's no good to me anyway. But I do like the guitar, and I don't accept money from any gear companies. Never have, never will. I'll accept product to do the review for, but I will not accept money because I don't like doing that. So yes, overall, I'm actually very impressed with what I'm seeing from this company, and that's the first episode of Restring Sunday. Next episode, we've got some more interesting guitars, maybe some 7 strings, maybe some guitars you've probably never even seen or heard of before. Restring Sunday is probably not going to be every week, maybe every second week, something like that. As we said, we're kind of running out of guitars, but we'll get something out to you every now and then. Thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.